Wars: The Last Jedi is directed by Rian Johnson and stars Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill. The Last Jedi starts directly after The Force Awakens, where Rey is now with Luke, trying to learn the ways of the Jedi, all while Kylo Ren and Snoke are continuing the fight against the Resistance. And of course, we have storylines for Poe, Finn, and the rest of the crew too. Bear with me, my voice, I know, fun weekend, yeah. You guys should know this already, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've been a fan for practically most of my entire life, and this movie, The Last Jedi, was easily one of my most anticipated, if not my most anticipated movie of the year. As we all know, Star Wars: The Force Awakens was the predecessor to The Last Jedi, came out 2 years ago, and I feel like that movie is really fun, but at the same time, it's not perfect because it does feel just a little bit too similar to A New Hope. Thankfully for The Last Jedi, it's not the same as any movie. In fact, this movie is extremely original and very unique, told through the eyes of Rian Johnson. And of course, this review will contain no spoilers. This is a huge movie, probably the biggest of the year. And for those who have not seen The Last Jedi yet, I want you to go in there knowing absolutely nothing. That's how you should experience movies, knowing nothing about the plot or any of the twists or turns the movies take. So going back to how this movie was told in a unique way from Rian Johnson, that's where my positives begin with The Last Jedi. Unlike The Force Awakens, this movie is original. It feels like a new Star Wars movie, nothing we've ever seen before, and that's why I praise this movie so much. Clearly, you can make a movie very good in the Star Wars universe and have it be nothing like we've seen ever before. So thank you, Rian Johnson, for making an original movie. I was so afraid that this movie would be exactly like The Empire Strikes Back, but this film is nothing like that. There are so many new twists and turns that I never saw coming before, and many of the plot points here are never before seen, so I am just so happy to say that. I loved the direction this movie went in at times. Rian Johnson did an excellent job at directing The Last Jedi. There were twists and turns in this film that I never saw coming, never would have guessed. Rian Johnson did an amazing job with The Last Jedi. So where should I start with the characters? Well, let's begin with Daisy Ridley's Rey. Daisy Ridley, again, is great, and I think even better as Rey. And the character of Rey here, her character arc is way better than I ever would have expected for this movie. A lot better, I thought, Rey was in this movie than The Force Awakens. You definitely go on an exploration with Rey in this movie. You learn a lot about the Jedi and all that stuff. I just loved Rey in this film. The direction for her character was great. Adam Driver is easily one of the best actors, I think, in Star Wars history. He, as Kylo Ren, once again, stole the show. Easily one of my favorite Star Wars villains of all time. Just fantastic. I thought Driver was great here. And Kylo Ren's character, wow, so awesome. The way they went with him was just great. I loved it. Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. Very sad news broke last year that Carrie Fisher passed away. Here in The Last Jedi, she gives an honorable performance. I think she was fantastic, a lot better than she was in The Force Awakens, I thought. Definitely took that leading role. She gave a very strong performance, a character that was a lot stronger here than in The Force Awakens, and also interesting. John Boyega in this film, again, is great. And Finn in this movie is paired up with a new character, Rose, and they had their own little story going on here. A lot of people thought what happened with those characters was probably the weakest point of the movie. In my opinion, though, I enjoyed everything they did with their characters. I thought their little storyline they had here was fun, even though by the end, I was left thinking, that was kind of stupid. But for the most part, I enjoyed what their characters did in this movie. Oscar Isaac, very cool once again as Poe Dameron, actually does something in this movie. And Poe Dameron is another character here that's very strong, takes the lead for the Resistance to go against the First Order. Mark Hamill here, he actually does something in this movie too as Luke Skywalker. Many people are saying this is Mark Hamill's best performance of all time. I'd probably agree. I think Mark Hamill was very strong. There's a lot of new things we explore with Luke in this movie, different ways of the Force, and the Force is something that's interesting with this movie. That's all I'll leave it at. There's a lot of cool new things we have with the Force, unlike any movie we've seen before in Star Wars. So Mark Hamill here did an excellent job with what he was provided for the character of Luke Skywalker. I just loved everything they did with Luke Skywalker in this movie. And that's just another reason why I actually prefer The Last Jedi over The Force Awakens, is because the characters here are all explored and built upon in this movie. Their arcs are all very well done here. I loved especially the arcs of Kylo Ren and Rey. What also took me by surprise here was how I was shocked for some of the moments in this movie. I never saw half of the things coming. This movie kind of just hit me out of nowhere. I never expected to see some of the things I saw in this movie, and that's another reason why I praise The Last Jedi. The score done once again by John Williams was really good here, and the action scenes too were satisfying, though I would have liked to see a little bit more lightsaber action. That's like the only thing I can ever say about action nowadays, is that I would like to see a little bit more done with the lightsabers. But as expected, the space battles here are epic. The CGI looks great. I know a lot of people were skeptical about the porgs, but come on. These things are adorable. I just love the porgs in this movie. There were actually a lot of new creatures that were introduced in this movie, and they were all so adorable. So in terms of the positives for this movie, I found them to outweigh the negatives by a long shot. This movie is very original, caught me by surprise in many scenes, great performances given throughout, and the characters here I felt were much stronger than the predecessor of The Force Awakens. And I just had a lot of fun with The Last Jedi. The storylines told here were truly phenomenal. The character arcs were great. This movie just did it all for me on almost every single level. Negatives for The Last Jedi, there aren't many, very minor, nothing major whatsoever. But one of them was how this movie is just a little bit too long. I kid you not. There were probably 3 times here where I thought the movie was going to end, and all of a sudden the movie just kept going. I was like, okay, more Star Wars, that's fine, but it did feel like it was a little bit dragged out at times. Some strange scenes were added in here, which I think will lead up to episode 9, but they caught me off guard in a way. I didn't think they really needed to be added in here. They were very weird and felt out of place. And as I stated earlier, just would have liked to have seen a little bit more battle with the lightsabers, but that's just a nitpick on my part. So let me say, The Last Jedi was a pleasant surprise for me. I very much enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. A lot of surprises, great character arcs and performances. This movie was a great ride. And I'm happy to say this is my favorite Star Wars movie to come out since Revenge of the Sith, which is saying a lot because The Force Awakens and Rogue One were both fun movies. I'm gonna give Star Wars The Last Jedi a 91%. Yes, I am giving it that big of a grade. This movie, I just had so much fun with it. There's nothing else I can really say. Go see this one if you guys haven't seen it yet. It's a lot of fun. In my opinion, it's better than The Force Awakens and Rogue One. It's just that fun of a movie. All right, so for those who have seen The Last Jedi, let me know down below in the comment section what you thought about it and if you agree or disagree with my opinion. We'll see where this movie ends up for me in my top 10 at the end of the year. And also, in the next coming weeks, I am planning on seeing plenty more movies leading up to the end of the year. Some of these movies include Lady Bird, Jumanji, The Post, Downsizing, and plenty more. Expect a lot of reviews coming out for you guys in the next couple of weeks. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and follow me on Twitter at SvenSulley and follow me on Snapchat at SvenMovies. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.